So the Rambam is paskening both like the Mishnah in Masechta Chulin and in Masechta Peya as nar by mitzvahs misuyamos, only specific mitzvahs, and which are they? The hainu by mitzvah shebin adam lachay is adam mechel peresein by lamaza. If you brought benefit to another person in this world, then as a reward you will also get paid for this in this world. That's only by mitzvah shebin adam lachaveirai. Kibbud avnei is ben adam lachaveirai. Exactly. Again. Talmud Torah is not correct, so there's no schar for that in Olam Hazeh. Talmud Torah is connected kulam, but as far as the schar is concerned, the schar of Talmud Torah is lasat love. Aber by the andere mitzvahs is the laman yitav locha la'olam shekulay toiv v'harachta yamim la'olam shekulay arach. All other mitzvahs that are not ben adam lachaveiroi, over there the schar is an olam haba. Yeah. It just says connected kulam, but it doesn't refer to the fact that oichlim perisayim ba'olam hazeh.
But it's in the Mishnah.
Again, true. I understand. Take a look. The source of this is the Rambam himself. Take a look in Order 58. Yep. The Rambam writes this not in the Sefer Hayad, but in Pirish HaMishnayis. Reish Peya. This Mishnah of Peya we say every day is the first Mishnah of Masechta Peya. Chiluk the bemitzvahs ben adam lachaveirai ben adam lamokim. Oh, okay. Now here the Rebbe adds, move on. I didn't see this inside, but apparently the Rambam is addressing the question that you had. What's with Talmud Torah? Okay, and the Rambam there writes, "Shah Talmud mevi l'dei ma'aseh." When you learn, it leads to action. So I guess it depends what you're learning. If you're learning about something that leads to action, if you're learning Masechta Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, Bava Basra, and much of Torah, which discusses in Yana, which are ben adam lachaveirai, then it's maybe l'dei ma'aseh that you should also behave towards your fellow properly and whatever is required. So then even for Talmud Torah, there'll be schar in Olam Hazeh.
In days it brings down, as I remember, that the makor of all the other things, you have this schar now. It comes from the rest
from Talmud Torah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you have it. The Rebbe Bavar L'chayre, that's the Rebbe's Bavarning. I didn't see the Pirish HaMishnayis inside, but that's what it would seem. Okay, now back inside the Siche. Und der Rebbe bringt nicht der Rambam der Pasik. Oh, this was one of the questions of the Rebbe. There are two psukim where it says Laman Yerichon Yamecha. There's one that it says by Kibbud Avayim and one by Shiluach HaKan. Now, when the Rambam quotes the idea that Laman Yerichon Yamecha is not in this world, which pasuk does he quote? Not the pasuk by Kibbud Avayim, but the pasuk by Shiluach HaKan. So this is the answer. Und der Rebbe bringt mit der Rambam der pasuk Laman Yerichon Yamecha Laman Yitav Loch versteht by Kibbud Avayim, even though that comes earlier in the Torah, right?
That's a little hard. You'll understand better.
Sorry.
I didn't even notice it.
Okay.
You know. I'm closer to it.
Yeah. Warum bei mitzvahs shben adam lachaveirai halt euch der Rambam as perisein b'olam hazeh? Because the Rambam also holds that when it comes to mitzvahs, you do get the schar in this world. So therefore the Rambam doesn't quote the pasuk of Laman Yerichon Yamecha when he explains that you do not get schar in this world. Okay, now here there's another ha'ara, very interesting, 59. This chiddush that the Rebbe is saying, that according to the Rambam, when it comes to schar, there's a distinction between ben adam lachaveirai and ben adam lamokim, is the Rebbe's chiddush, because in the words of the Rambam itself, in Hilchas Shuveh, the Rambam doesn't make this distinction. The Rebbe is saying it in order to make the words of the Rambam fit with the Mishnah. The Rambam himself never clearly says this distinction. So the Rebbe says, not 59. Well, the Rambam quotes the Mishnah itself. Where does he quote the Mishnah itself? So look at Order 59, a chap. He doesn't bring it in the halachas and Hilchas Shuvah or anywhere, but we know that Rambam has the Nusach HaTfilah. And over there in the Nuscha Tefillah, like we say it every morning in Birchas HaShachar, the Rambam quotes it. So he quoted the Mishnah. Even though he's not quoting it in halacha, he's not quoting it as the halacha, but he brought the Mishnah. Okay. Back into the Sikhe. Und das ist nicht kein Stire zu dem, was sagt, dass man den Scharen schon Mitzvahs. The Rambam says that the reward for mitzvahs, all the goodness we will get for it, it's all Olam Haba, and the Rambam is saying this for all mitzvahs, including mitzvahs Shemirат Machaveirai. Because here the Rambam makes another distinction. The etzem, you see, etzem ve'ikar eschar, we're in the last paragraph, on page 204, the last paragraph of the first column. Well, the etzem ve'ikar eschar is Olam Haba. Where do you get the essence of the schar? That's only in Olam Haba. Hakeren kayam Olam Haba. Like it says it there in the Mishnah, even those matters that are Benad Machaveidoi, the principle, the main schar is in Olam Haba. Ubemele is masam oichle das Rambam va Mishnah de Loshen schar mitzvah b'hayal maleke. So it's appropriate to say that there's no schar in this world because when you come to the main schar, there is no schar in this world. The Machlekes says no, but here there's an argument between the Mishnah and Rabbi Yaakov. Benigeh periseyan, there are fruits, which means not the ikar. There's a secondary schar, was kommt als peiris von etzem haschar. The fruits that come as a result of the schar itself, right? Von leman yirich yemechol leman yitul l'chalol haba. Das a Mishnah v'harambam. So the Mishnah and the Rambam paskins like the Mishnah is das faran. You have this in this world where by mitzvah shemirad l'chaveirah. Was the Mishnah rechent in Masechta Peah. That's what's counted there in the Mishnah. Let's just skip the brackets for a second. On the Das Rabbi Yaakov is euch by the mitzvahs nita kemperiseim ba'olam haza. For no mitzvahs, including benod l'chaveirah, there's no schar in this world, and that's one of the points that Rebbe explained earlier. No, according to Rabbi Yaakov, there's no schar in this world, not even peiris either, not even the peiris, and that's where he brought us proof from the story with the person that was going up the ladder that the Gemara is medayik that it wasn't just shiluach hakam, it was also kibbud aveim. Because if it would not be kibbud aveim, you would say, it's not benod l'chaveirah. It had to be daf benod l'chaveirah. I've explained before a whole pilpul why. That proves that point as well. Okay, now let's go back to the brackets. What does the Rebbe add here? This point that the Rebbe is explaining according to the Rambam, Alter Rebbe says this point in Igeres HaKodesh in Tanya. V'zeh she'omru razal, schar mitzvah leke, b'hai alma leke. This point, that there's no schar in this world, ki ba'olam haza gashmi, ubal gvol chulu, a limited world, a physical world, I efsher le'islabish shum ha'orem ha'oresev barcha chulu b'maisa tzedakah v'gmus chasadim she'adam oichel periseyem ba'olam haza. So yesh nekovim al derech mashul b'lavusha elyon chulu. There are holes lahar mem lashpia oir v'shefa mechesed droi yemine oirich yamim ba'olam haza gashmi chulu. So what's the Alter Rebbe there saying? The Alter Rebbe there, this is in the Igeres HaKodesh where it speaks about that
go out.
Disturbs everything. I know what you could do about this. Yeah. No, and he takes also to film. Okay. Yeah.
He takes
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's not for the tefillah. You take the push bit.
Okay, let's continue. Let's continue learning Torah. Yeah. Okay, so what's the Nukud over here? Now, what's the Igeres HaKodesh? There's a pasuk there that Alter Rebbe brings that Maisa, that stock is compared to armor. Armor is made layers on layers. Chips, you said? Chinks, that's the word. And there's sort of holes. Links or chinks. There's holes in it. So the Alter Rebbe says, okay. So the point Alter Rebbe says is the main schar, which is Seif of Kalama, which is Bligvol, you can't have in this world. According to the Hezbollah Alter Rebbe, when you learn the Mishnah, it says Schar Mitzvah Ba'al Maleke, the point is, not that Kedevish is holding it back. Kedevish doesn't hold it back. it's not shaykh. It's impossible. If we would understand what a mitzvah is the bleak vol of the Ratzon of the Eibishter, the world is not a kela to contain that revelation of the mitzvah. But then there is ha'ara that comes through the holes of this armor. That is something that there is schar for in this world. That's what Alter Rebbe, and Alter Rebbe is speaking about stocking gmos chasadim. So stocking gmos chasadim, those examples is benod lachaveira. That's the nekuda over here. Okay. Okay.
That's according to the Rambam. Rambam is about
Correct. According to the Rambam. So this is the machlokes here. Ben adam lamakayim. Everybody agrees there's no schar in this world. Ben adam lachaveiroi. Everybody agrees that the ikir schar is an olam haba as well. Where's the machlokes regarding peiroi seyem? A secondary schar, a ha'ara of the schar, a certain ray of the schar in this world. Here's a machlokes whether there's any schar in this world. Rav Yaakov says there isn't, and the Rambam paskins like the Mishnah that there is. That there is. Now this peiris of the which is the ha'ara of the mitzvah, that's more than enough to live a good long life with abundance, with gesund, panasa, nachas, everything you need. The ha'ara of the mitzvah, trust me, it's big enough. Big enough.
The Alter is saying that essentially each one creates a protective armor. When you do
Not
mitzvahs,
sure. I have to look again inside the.
He speaks about the pieces of one to another. Eventually, it creates a protective armor for the person.
But Alter Rebbe says, correct. No, the Alter Rebbe says there it's the muscle of the holes in the coven that it comes through holes. Like ha'ara that shines through. Okay, now there's another point to this though. So here we're speaking about, so far we have three aspects of schar. Ben adam lamakayim, ben adam lachaveiroi, and then there's the peiris. Now there's another inyan which is also sort of a schar, but not really a schar. Let's see. Das also that's wegen schar mitzvahs. Till here we're discussing the concept of a schar. Test, yeah. So test, schar is reward. A schar, and the Rebbe explains and defines what schar means. Inyan's dodi was kontfar den kiyama mitzvahs. It's a reward, meaning that it's sort of a side thing, which comes out as a result of this you fulfilled mitzvahs. Meaning, David asks of you, or he commands you to do something, and the fact that you behave, you follow, you listen, so you deserve a schar for this. That's one inyan. Then there are other things that the Torah promises, and it's clearly speaking about Olam Hazeh. There's no two ways about it. When you look in the Psukim in Parshas B'chukaisai, Nesati Geshmechem B'itom, it's not speaking about Ruchnias, Olam Hazeh, but speaking about here physically in this world. That's not a reward that follows and comes after and as a result of fulfilling the mitzvah. This is connected to the very fulfillment of the mitzvah itself. David is saying, you fulfill mitzvahs, this will be your quality of life in this world. You'll have a good quality of life. Not a schar. It's integral to the fulfillment of the mitzvahs. Why? Why is it integral to the fulfillment of the mitzvahs? The Rebbe says very simple. Just like it is in the responsibility of a master that acquires a slave. Slave should serve him. So the master has a responsibility to provide his slave with everything he needs. In order that the slave can fulfill his job. So over here, the Rebbe is highlighting the word kedei. It's literally the other way around of schar. Schar is, I do what I have to. And then afterwards, the Rebbe says, okay, you did so well, I'm going to reward you for this. Here it's the other way around. Here the Rebbe says, I see that you're doing so well, so really, you deserve to be put in the position to have life good in every level and all the qualities of life, so that then you could utilize the life that I'm giving you to do mitzvahs. When the Rebbe sees a person following through with mitzvahs, then adarabeh, he gives him the ability to do even more mitzvahs. Mitzvah gereres mitzvah. Maybe that's another pshat. A mitzvah gereres mitzvah. You do one mitzvah, so the Rebbe says, aha, you're doing my mitzvahs. Let me give you the ability to do another mitzvah. There's actually it says in Rashi brings it regarding a person. He builds a house and then he has a vineyard. You do one thing, you do a mitzvah with one thing. So you can build a house and you can put up a mezuzah, you can put up a maikeh. Yeah. Al derech zeh. So the same is with a yid. B'shas that evet will meisiv zayin din the modem noch besser. Then what's if the slave wants to come and serve even more, serve even with greater dedication? Is there odden eich meisiv? So the master will give him more for what he needs to be able to serve better. Gibt him noch und noch kennen eisführen da isaf sein arbeit. He keeps on adding more and more in order that he should be able to add more.
But not schar.
This is not a concept of schar. That's what the Rebbe adds here. Look, und das alt is nicht kein schar. This is not the concept of a reward. Tzalid und la'achrei von sein arbeit. This is not a reward. We're on top of page 205 now, right? The first paragraph. This is not a schar which is for and because of the work that you did. No, says amen. Ha'hechsher v'hachana kaidem lavidase. Contrary, this is the Eibishter preparing and making things smooth in a person's life that he should have the ability to serve Hashem. That's the story. That's the way it is by an Eved. Al derech zeh by Yidden. So the same applies by Yidden as well. Bald as a Kodesh Baruch Hu nosan lanu Torah zu eitz chayim hichol. Hashem gives us the Torah, which is a tree of life. Is b'meila, and here the Rebbe quotes the language of the Rambam. Hifti chonu. Hashem promises b'Torah shem nasa isa b'simcha u b'toivas nefesh. If you fulfill what it says in Torah, but with joy and with a good attitude. V'negeh b'chachmas hatamid, and we will focus on the wisdom of Torah constantly. Sheyaser mimenu kol advarim hamaynim meisanim elasaisa. Maybe she says, I see your dedication, so that means that I have to make it possible for you to serve me, and I'll remove all things that will stop. Illness, milchama, a war, rov, hunger, whatever else similar. He'll give us all goodness. To sit and to have time to learn. The last is a mitzvah and to do mitzvahs. Let's not spell that out. Leave it unsaid. That's the story. So this is not called a schar. This is a different concept. This is not a side thing that comes later as a result. Not a hechrich, kavayachol. It's a must. The Rebbe adds the word kavayachol. Speaking about the Eibishter, after all. Mitzadem tzivoi, I've kiyama Torah mitzvahs. If the Eibishter commands, so in other words, he's treating us like a servant that's serving him. So then he has to provide for us the ability to do it. And this is a point which you can't start making distinctions. And this is a point that's equal by all mitzvahs. Kizil basatayme. It's not the reason. If you're serving Hashem, so then He will provide for you the means and the conditions and the good life to be able to fulfill Torah mitzvahs. But yeah, when you read the Rambam closely, though, the thing is you have to pay attention to what the Rambam says. It has to be serving Hashem b'simcha, b'toivas nefesh. Tamid, the Rambam says, v'negeh b'chachmas tamid.
Is taking things in good heart.
Yeah.
Is it equal to simcha?
Similar concept.
Yeah, similar concept.
Similar.
Like
Simcha is more of an excitement and
the person takes it in a good heart because he knows what happened in the past and this again. He says this is.
So that's part of it. That's part of it. To accept everything Hashem gives him, and then Hashem will actually has to make it good. Has to make it good, right? Yeah. Und da, okay, let's just finish the ice. Und in them. Should we take a look in the Ha'arav here? Take a look in Ha'arav 64. Last is the Rebbe has a diak there's Lilmoid and last is learning and fulfilling. So the Rebbe says Lilmoid v'lasais la'achar sheyoser v'yashpia. So the Rambam here is speaking about this, that the person learns and fulfills after he says that Hashem already removed all problems and gives him all abundance of goodness. So the Rebbe is sort of trying to bavaran here. How does it start? What's first and what's second? Does it begin with the fact that the person demonstrate how he's serving Hashem b'simcha, and only then does Hashem take away the problems that he has in order that he should be able to continue? Or, as it seems from the Rambam at the end, it works the other way around. Hashem first gives the person a good life in all areas, and then, now that you have a good life in all areas, okay, so then you can learn and sit and learn. Okay, so from the end of the Rambam, it sounds like that first the Eibishter gives a person everything he needs. Now, Vatnai, so the Rebbe continues here in the footnote, 64 star. Vatnai shem nasa isa b'simcha chulu. It seems like the Rambam is adding this condition. Has to be with simcha. A karchach tzarich leimar shezeh boy lachiach she'eved roitze lahoisif b'avidasai. Simcha is an indication that you're not just fulfilling what you have to, but that you're excited about it. You're looking to add. So therefore, the Eibishter is going to add that you'll have goodness even beyond natural means, even if you have to shatter the entire system of nature. Wow. Wow. So very big chiddush to Sarah. What the Rebbe is saying over here is, for the basic natural means that Eibishter uses to provide a person for what he needs, food, clothing, health, that there's no conditions. The Eibishter provides it for a Yid. Now the Yid has to take that and utilize it to fulfill Torah mitzvahs. If chas v'sholem you don't, so then the Eibishter starts pulling the plug a little bit here and there. But there is no, it doesn't start with the condition that the person has to be show his perfection in Torah mitzvahs. It starts with this, that the Eibishter gives a person everything that he needs. Yeah. This is the Rambam says that tonight, that first you should demonstrate a simcha in your avodas Hashem. That's if you want to get from the Eibishter something supernatural. To get that supernatural special attention, for that there's a tonight that has to be b'simcha. That's the pshat on this Rambam. Very unique, very unique.
You have to win the lottery.
To win the lottery, so then there has to be the conditions that Rambam says. Simcha, Teivas HaNefesh, and Tomid, all those conditions.
Yeah, you have to buy a ticket. Count them up and later, there's a 650 million Powerball. So.
Okay. This is very interesting. It's said, this pshat. Very powerful. Okay, let's see. We had 2 more paragraphs here to finish the ice. Let's see. Und in dem besteht euch der Chilik bepoil zwischen Schar HaMitzvahs und die Yehudim Gashmi. Well, that's how the Rebbe terms it. There's Schar, and then there's the Yehudim Gashmi, what Hashem promises. The Yehudim Gashmi was health in the Yehudim, Mekayim Zayin Torah Mitzvahs. That's there to assist and to make it possible to fulfill Torah Mitzvahs. Then wie der Rambam sagt, Seva, Shalom, Malchus, to have food, to have peace, to have a good government that allows you to learn. The Yeshivas Haaretz, to have a land to live in, Vatzlochas Maise, should be successful. Hainu in Yonama Mochrachim or the Hafchai, things that you need, or Chas v'shalom, the opposite. Hashem provides, like a master that provides for his slave to have the ability to serve and to do what he has to. Schar mitzvah, schar is a reward that comes afterward. That's something else. Is an anointing for shaloi berach. That's something that's out of our whole range of understanding of our whole existence in this world. Thus was the Eibishter git in Yonim Neisavim. The Eibishter that gives on his behalf, on his terms. The Eibishter is giving on his terms. Asach mer v'di achrechi is v'smdaf haben. That's much more than anything that we can do in this world. That's something that there's no schar mitzvah b'hal malek. That's only when Moshiach comes. Then we'll have that kind of schar.
There's no keli to hold.
Correct. There's no keli for that.
The what? Is that we're saying that in the Chukosai?
Yeah.
That's just the necessities.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the necessities. Yeah. Correct. And that, you see, the thing is that in Chukosai, it even includes things that are lamayla minateva there. So the Rebbe here is saying that this concept of the Eibishter providing for you in this world includes even l'mayla min hateva. But the schar lost lavoi, even a nes is not a keli for that. That's a whole different existence. There's nothing that's a keli for it. Only when Mashiach comes.
Even Hukosai is a condition.
Correct. You're right. It sounds like if, right? So here, this Sa'ara, I think the Sa'ara 64 star is a massive chiddush. The Rebbe is saying regarding having a supernatural, what's the result there of what's the promises that it says after B'chol Kaisai? What does it say? It talks about things that are l'mayla min hateva there. All different kinds of things that l'mayla min hateva talks about. When is there a condition of in B'chol Kaisai regarding things that are l'mayla min hateva? But regarding having good life, beged lechem, beged lilbush lechem lechel. Teva, that the Rebbe says is not nice. Hashem gives you. You could ruin it, chas v'shalom, and then the Eibishter will take it away. But l'chatchila, the Eibishter gives a yid what he needs, right, to do Torah.
He sets them up.
Yeah.
In order to.
Okay, beautiful.